day, so it begins again.
There.
Last day.
Mary has to sit between the two Wolverines.
I was just gonna say.
Stop us from fighting.
Jealous.
She's the Wolverine sandwich.
I love it.
Bring back the Lolitas.
Oh, that's so funny.
That is funny.
I drank it.
I drank all the hot sauce?
I'll saw him
I drank
drink
an entire
it.
bottle of hot sauce sitting.
Oh my gosh.
Did you?
Yeah, it was like a whole
for
bottle.
fun? Yeah, by choice.
He was
How
John.
you get your voice right for Wolverine? It's like you drink a bottle of hot sauce. Wow.
Wow.
4 a.m. in the morning, it's John Hurt on the floor with an alien coming out of his chest.
I woke up with a burning ring of fire.
And it burn, burn, burn.
Ring of fire. Wow.
Good morning, Sunday. Good morning.
Hi.
Cheese whiz.
Oh wait, is that for us? Do we get to spray the audience? You guys are in the splash zone.
Yes.
Makes
Are
him
you eating that whole
happy.
thing too? Yesterday I had spray cheese on cotton candy with hot sauce. It's a thing.
Every day is a Fear Factor moment.
This has been going on for how many years?
10 years?
Jackson is here, honey.
Hey,
Good morning.
Jackson. How you
Jackson
doing?
was Steve Stagmaster, an extraordinaire for our shark dive on Friday morning.
He's the reason we're still alive.
Yes.
Thank you, Jackson.
Yay.
Yay.
Taking credit for all your videos.
He's a badass. There was this grouper that, his name is Gil, right?
Gil the Grouper is
And-
in love with Steve's crotch.
He's in love with my crotch and you. I think you're his first love.
Yeah, he's madly in love with
I'm his
Jackson.
backup plan.
Yes.
But he took the regular and he puts it under this big ass grouper and big A grouper, sorry, and blows bubbles under his chin, and all of a sudden the mouth opens up like this big, and the bubbles are going in the mouth, and the
Gives
grouper's
him a shell shower on his
shell
back.
shower.
He just loves it.
And he belches out the bubbles after. It's this amazing thing. I don't know how you figured out that he would do that. You probably lost a couple fingers in the process, right? Yeah.
No, still
all
got
still
it.
there.
Yeah.
Don't experiment with my own fingers.
No, that's
no.
right. You get Jamie down there saying, Jamie, give me your hand.
No, that's what you get. That's what you get the guests for, right? You bring in guests, bring them underwater, and feed them to the animals. It's wonderful.
Distract Gil with your crotch.
And this is your lovely wife here. Hi. Hi.
Hi, lovely wife.
Hi. So welcome.
Welcome.
This is the sleepiest panel you will ever go to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until the easy cheese starts flowing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Then there's no rules.
Oh, I didn't even notice it's easy cheese. It's not just
easy.
squeezed cheese. It's
Yes.
squeezy easy cheese.
Because I'm a simple Canadian and that hard cheese is too difficult.
It's queasy cheese on a Sunday.
Okay, who
we've
slept
learned a lot
last
about
night? Because there were a
mixology,
lot of
haven't we?
people in our hotel that did not sleep last night, and you know who you are.
I
You
slept.
guys slept? People
Yeah.
said,
I
who didn't
slept.
sleep? Good man! I remember you 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2
All right, should we open this up to you guys? Do you have burning questions?
Do you know who we are?
Nobody in here.
Just
know
wandered
exactly.
in.
Nobody in here even cares.
Morning.
You have a question, sir?
Happening.
Fire away.
Alright, this one's for Mary.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going back to sleep.
It's related to Critical Role. I just
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
ask, what it was like to have Matt Mercer as a DM, and how does that sort of thing get set up?
Well, Matt and I've been friends for a long time. I've been directing him on Naruto for years and a number of other shows. And when they started the D&D, they asked if I wanted to be a guest. And I looked around at the group and I said, well, they don't have a tiefling and they don't have a warlock. And I actually said, you know, I wanted to be a spellcaster because I've never played D&D in my life. And I just thought it would be fun. I'm not really a go in and hit 'em kind of person. I like to... You know, when we do paintball, I'm always on the outskirts, just boom, boom, firing away at people. So I thought being a spellcaster would be fun, and I wanted to be a warlock, and they said, well, what's the best kind of warlock? And they said, a tiefling. And I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then I just thought it'd be fun to have her start with a Z, Zara, Zara. And the minute I said Zara, I found her voice. So that was it. And then I just went in and like most of us do in most of our lives, I winged it. You know, that's sort of the secret to adulthood is that most of us are just winging it and hoping that we succeed or fail. Because failure is really fun too. I learned more from failure than anything else. And I became obsessed. Like for the week in between, I kept seeing Sam in between sessions because we work at the same studio, and I'd be like, "Can I cast Mass Suggestion on the Frost Giants? Do you think that would work? Can we talk about this? Is this metagaming? What's happening?" You know, so. And I just got a set of dough dice yesterday from some wonderful, wonderful man that all the ones say dough on it, so they're Homer dice, and I'm obsessed. I love it. It's so much fun. I can't wait. Now we've got a home game with Steve's playing in now. And
Badly.
tell him who you are, darling.
Oh, there's a game called Dragon Age where I played a character called Ogren, and so my character is loosely based on Ogren. And Ogren used to say something. I'm gonna say it in here. I don't think there are kids in here. It's okay.
Still.
He used to say "ass chabs" a lot. That was just one of his things. So I named my character Azure Chabs. And and he's a dwarf barbarian, and half of his face is tattooed against his will, and he has a tail for no reason, and he has a wild boar as a girlfriend named Gladys that he carries around on a baby Bjorn. It's ridiculous. The game is just ridiculous.
So much fun. So much fun, but you get to rage.
I do get to rage a lot, and I collect the most vile substances we can find. He's also a connoisseur of alcohol, so he brews his own mushroom ale, and some of it's hallucinogenic, which he trades for things, and our DM actually let me trade a little bladder of ale for an entire boat one day. I don't know why, but yeah, it's great. It's really fun.
It is.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
None of us do,
Yeah.
but again, secret to adulthood. We don't know what we're doing, and we're all winging it.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Know that you're not alone.
Yes.
Moments of confusion in your life.
How do you pick the
Yeah.
next victim?
Does he have assless chaps though?
Only in private. He actually does. I hired an amazing artist who created some
Who
fantastic.
does a lot of stuff? Joma.
Yeah, Joma.
Joma Cueto. Yeah.
He lives in the Philippines, and he created this beautiful rendition of him, two different versions of him, but we didn't have him in the Assless Chaps. I think that will be, once we get the merch going for that, we'll have an alternate version,
Yeah.
collector's edition. Yeah, but you don't want to see what's under there.
There's so much hair, though.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Can
like
I
the-
address the term assless chaps? It seems unnecessary.
Shastless ass.
Assless chaps, if you drop the assless part, I'm sorry kids, those are called pants.
That's
Yes.
Two questions. First one's for Steve, the second one's for all of you.
Okay.
Steve, I know you voiced a lot of different voices in your time, but do you remember anything from back when you voiced Cosmo and Stride?
Yeah, a lot of screaming and pain. I just remember going, "Shell bullet!" and bleeding profusely from the throat afterwards.
And then the last other one was for all of you. Do any of you enjoy any of the parodies online of your characters, like on YouTube? Like,
I am not a goddamn Yoshi! I went through 4 years of having people say, can you yell dodge? You know, I'm just like, nerd. I'm like, what's your favorite candy? Nerd. What kind of car do you drive? Dodge. I'm going, I have no idea why I'm saying this. And I finally asked, because I'm smirtling. So have you ever seen Abridged? I watched it, I howled. I think it's brilliant.
It's the only way to watch Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Takes less time.
I don't even watch the original versions. I haven't gotten to the.
We are parodies of our
We kind of
characters
are.
in real life.
Yeah, everything we do is a parody. But now we have homework. Thanks a lot.
I know. We're gonna have to find it.
For Mary and
Oh.
Scott, well, I asked you yesterday.
Fine. Nobody remembers yesterday. It's fine, but I'll be right here.
Are there any franchises that you're interested in trying to work for in the future?
Harry Potter. I don't know. I keep hoping they'll keep adding to that universe. I think it would be really fun to. Again, I'm obsessed with magic usage, so that would
Yeah,
be
they
really
got
fun.
they got 4 more Fantastic Beasts movies, from what I understand.
I wanted to like that movie so much more than I did.
Me too.
I was-
I'd still play a beast.
I will. Oh, absolutely. I would do anything. I would absolutely play anything in that. That would be really fun. I'd love to do anything if they ever continued the Fifth Element world of the Fifth Element. I would love to be like the Pava Laguna's assistant or daughter or intern or anything. I mean, I love that world. What franchise is it?
I will work on anything that people pay me money to work on. I'm a correspondent prostitute. You give me money, I will make sound. I'm a whore.
He likes easy cheese.
She's with swallowing horror. Those fighting words.
You cheese whiz swallowing whore.
How was it for breakfast? Is it good? I'm just asking because it's
I
still
have to take
breakfast.
the honesty potion. No, it's delicious. I love cheese whiz, especially on
Sunday.
sausage Sunday. Next year I'm going for anchovies. It's a thing now. It's like, what disgusting stuff can we get Scott to eat with spray? It started with the Klondike bar
Oh,
and spray cheese.
it's not disgusting
That's
at all.
delicious.
It actually, I have yet to come across anything where I didn't go, oh, that's actually not bad. The Twinkie was great.
Oh, yeah.
Plus I injected the Twinkie and topped it. I cuddled it first.
PG-13. PG-13.
This is your first visit to the clinic?
It's not going in that hand.
I'm working on Riverdale now. That's fun. I'm in the Archie universe.
Oh, cool. What are you doing on Riverdale?
I play a serpent called Tall Boy.
Ooh.
Thus the beard, by the way. This is my Archie beard.
Oh, fun. Great. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I asked you this yesterday, but this is also for all of you. What's your favorite way to de-stress? You know, emotionally, mentally, separate from your work in your free time?
Scotch.
You laugh. He spontaneously combusts and then reforms himself every morning.
Yeah, I mean, the standard decompression cycle for most people is to spend your time in a small padded room screaming. That's what I do for a living. I don't have stress. When I don't work, I have stress.
I like going outside.
Yeah,
Actually,
and
go
we
outside.
laugh all the time.
We do.
Try and make each other laugh.
We laugh for no reason at all. Yeah,
It's like 4 a.m. I'm like, we've got a cat named Ash, and Ash will come up on the bed, and I get head and paws and purring, and I realize as he's stretched out that somebody else, Steve's getting the other end of Ash.
and he's a Maine Coon. He's huge. He's like this big.
Yeah.
And so,
So I
the
hear a
ash
little-
end is.
I hear a little song Steve will sing at 4 a.m.
Well, we have to censor it for this. Yeah. Oh, cat butt in my face.
Brown hole in my eye. And we just start giggling at 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's gross. And he's violent purring on the other end, which actually translates. Yeah, and it translates to the butt. The butt is vibrating too. So it's, not only do you get the sphincter right there in the eyeball, but it's moving.
It's all research for chaps.
Yeah, it is.
It's all-
It is. Yeah, it's this amazing aperture that's flexing. It's horrifying.
But we're water babies, you know. That's
Yeah.
why we went to the aquarium to get in the water.
Yeah, we don't have to get in nature. Nature's nice.
It's what I do. I kayak a lot and I garden a lot. That's
Yeah.
how I de-stress. And I was actually a diver for like 35 years.
Really?
You're still certified.
Oh, I'm still certified, yeah. I mean, I've done
Next time
full
we'll go to the
tech.
aquarium with Jackson. It is a fun time.
All my gear blew up.
Oh.
I had a fire at my house, $12,000 worth of dive gear, because, you know, West Coast Canada, it's pretty heavy on the tech diving. You know, I've done 220, and it's just 180 pounds of gear, and scuba tanks blow up real good in a fire. Apparently heard from blocks away. And oddly enough, all the shrapnel stayed in my yard.
Wow.
Because I went, it's like, man, that thing is a rocket.
Wow.
But I haven't been diving since.
Bless this rocket house and all who inside this rocket house.
No, and I normally log like 150, 200 dives a year.
Wow.
I gotta get back in the water.
Yeah, you do.
Quickly, to the shark tank. I used to dive in the dolphin tank, or the porpoise exhibit in Vancouver. Not as exotic because basically my job was to vacuum up porpoise poop.
Yeah.
I was the volunteer in the aquarium. I like dolphins.
And thus the obsession with Cheese Whiz. What? Wait a minute.
Wait.
Tastes exactly the same too, I would imagine.
It's kind of a question for all three, mainly for Steve and Scott, since their character, but have either of you ever encountered a real Wolverine? The animal?
I have.
Oh, really?
Have you?
They're incredible.
I live in Canada.
How'd they taste?
Delicious. I saw a T-shirt once, actually at a restaurant in Columbus when I was and it just randomly, and for some reason, it just had a T-shirt that said, "Wolverine tastes like chicken." So I bought the T-shirt.
She did.
For my girlfriend.
Did she agree?
Oh.
I am not allowed to confirm nor deny that.
And the PG-13 fades away.
No, and actually my uncle is a trapper, so.
Those things are like honey badger on steroids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest biggest member of the weasel family. They're huge.
And they do not have the honey
It's
badger voice that we
Wesselton.
all know.
They don't have.
Honey badger don't care.
It's not weasel, it's Wesselton.
Really?
They'll bring down bears if they have to, just to defend their kill.
I don't think I want to meet one.
And
now.
they're deadly accurate with a crossbow.
That's some awesome cosplay. David Bowie just.
Oh, beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That's great. Okay, you had a question over here, yes?
Yes. First, I just want to say, like, as much as I love Steve, you reprising many roles in like Heroes of the Storm, particularly to Haka, I couldn't help but feel like, oh, that poor man's vocal cords. And so my question for all three of you is, what's the best way to soothe your vocal cords after a straining day of recording, doing something very difficult roles?
Shutting up.
It's really the only thing that'll help us vocal rest. You can have warm water with honey just to keep everything nice and lubricated, but I would just not talk.
Yeah, cheese whiz.
Spray cheese and hot sauce. I find tequila helps.
Honey badger.
Yes, scotch actually that helps me a little bit. I'll have a little dram of scotch at night afterwards. I have these little Chinese herbal throat drops that help to soothe it. They're called Golden Throat. And I am not an official representative of them, but
Dave Kay uses those. I remember seeing a bottle and it's like, really? Really? It's like, they really work. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
yeah,
They do. They
Yeah, they're
really
pretty
do.
good.
They have honeysuckle in them, so that's honey. Honey's a really good thing.
Honey badger.
They have honey badger suckles.
Fresh squeezed honey badger. Yeah, you just gotta and drink a lot of water too. That before, during, and after. That helps. Yeah, but really, just you gotta shut up. You just gotta stop.
And know when you've pushed yourself too hard. You can tell in the booth, and you just have to take care of yourself and let them know, I can't do anymore. You know, yeah. Otherwise, you could blow out your cords, get nodes, all kinds of stuff. You've got to take care of your instrument.
Yes.
You are your own Stradivarius.
It's not a delicate instrument, but it's an instrument.
Yes.
Okay.
Can be.
Who's our next victim? You choose.
What? Oh, yes.
I was wondering, how did y'all get, this is for all three of you, how did you get started in the industry? And do you have a favorite character that you've spoken for?
That's two questions. On to you, pal.
Follow-up, Savoy.
By accident. You know, I had wanted, I do it for a living what I used to get kicked out of school for, you know. You know, when I was in Disneyland when I was 12 years old and I found out that Paul Frees, the voice of everything there, was also the Pillsbury Doughboy, I went, bing, something, I want to do that. But of course, I'm like, I live in Canada, that's not likely to happen. I trained very seriously, you know, I did 4 years of classical theater training, and, you know, I was going to be a stage actor. Of course, got in trouble there because they kept going, you know, no one's ever going to want to pay money to hear those thin little voices years ago. But very much long story short, I did a radio play where I played like 15 characters just kind of for fun for a friend of mine. And I went, you know what, this is kind of what I'd like, so let's see if we can maybe, you know, get an audition, do radio commercial, something. There's a much longer version of this story, but essentially I went in, the guy that was casting it, and I do kind of what I do, which is just started spewing personalities randomly around the room. And he was like, wow, I wish I'd met you a week ago. And I'm like, wow, that's great. Well, why? And he goes, well, I just finished doing some casting on G.I. Joe. And I'm like, yeah, right, like what, the cartoon? And he's like, yeah, but I went, what? So they brought me in for the next thing. It was directed by a psychopath, and I said, I'm never going to do this again. So basically, the industry was just starting in Vancouver. Then I went in for the New Adventures of He-Man, which I booked, and that was like 65 episodes of, hello, I'm not unemployed, and look, I can afford all the sushi I want. And then it just took off from there. You know, I've done like probably 14,000 episodes since, but 99% of it was just being blind, lucky, being in the right place at the right time, saying the right things in the right way. Having done the work first. I sort of forget to stress that sometimes.
Yeah.
People go, so it's like, no, you gotta be ready if it happens.
Yeah, I met this amazing young woman at the table yesterday, and she had these great voices, really high and cute, and I was like, wow, yeah, you can do all of these amazing voices. Now you got to support it by becoming an actor, because that's what all of us are, is we are actors, and it doesn't matter how you become an actor, whether it's classically trained. I was also classically trained. I was going to be a theater person, but then I realized I really just wanted to be on Star Trek. So in Texas, I was like, either go to Broadway or go to LA, and I came to LA and did that, and I got hurt on the set of Xena, Warrior Princess in New Zealand, and I came back and I started doing anime voiceover because my knee was kind of messed up after that, and that was it. But and then they had too many shows and not enough directors, and they said, do you want to direct? And I said, sure, I'd love to, and they gave me Cowboy Bebop, and that started my directing career, and I've been really focusing on that ever since, which is sort of amazing. And now, sort of 15, 20 years later, I'm starting to get really back into the acting, being on Star Wars Rebels, and now OKKO, a new show that just premiered last week for Cartoon Network, and 2 other really big franchises that are coming out I can't talk about yet. But yeah, and I think Bebop changed my life, and playing Julia changed my life, because that's where I met Steve. I was so obsessed with his voice as Spike Spiegel that I said, well, I don't know if we're ever going to meet this Julia chick he keeps talking about, but I'm going to play her, because I was obsessed with him. And I think playing the Major really changed my life from being, I talked a lot this weekend about playing battered women and abused women, and it was the first time I could play a really strong female individual that wasn't reliant upon men or wasn't defined by that. It was sort of going through her own existential journey of figuring out who she was, you know, and that was great. That was really empowering to me. So.
I entered the business backwards, upside down. I was a struggling musician. I was playing for an R&B band in the 80s, opening for heavy metal acts. So you can imagine how well that was going. But to support that obsession, I had a day job at a film studio. The company was called Empire Entertainment. We made movies like Reanimator and Ghoulies. And I was the only non-actor in the building. Everyone from interns all the way up wanted to be an actor. I didn't care at all. And I just happened to have the deepest voice in the mailroom. And they were casting for a Japanimation thing called The Guyver. And asked me if I'd be interested in coming in on a weekend, and they would give me free breakfast and lunch, and nothing else that he said mattered to me at that moment. Just free food with a bunch of really cool people and making stupid noises. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. That sounds fun. Fortunately, because of my music training, I had the ability to match the lip flaps and the movements of the characters on screen. So there was a training aspect involved to it. I was not classically trained like these guys as far as acting was concerned. 25 years of doing this was my training and stealing from really, really talented people. So there are different ways of going about it, but you do have to have the training to work on this level. So yeah, I sort of stepped into it backwards, and I've been learning ever since. I learn every single day, and I really learned the most important lessons of acting, which was to get in touch with your own true essence and your unique quality that you can bring to it by working with Mary Elizabeth. She actually pointed that out to me in the course of recording the Cowboy Bebop movie specifically, where I had to become vulnerable. And for me, that was the hardest thing of all in acting. I can do the big broad things, I can do all the crazy character voices, but to get in touch with something that's actually painful personally, that's what was the tipping point for me, and made me realize, okay, this is something I'm kind of built for, and I'm willing to go there. You have to be willing to go there too.
Yeah, so. And willing to fail. Again, I talk about failure all the time. You learn so much by just being brave enough to mess up and not succeed.
Yeah, we fail so much. It's fun.
It's
that's
awesome.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. I am a failure and I love it! Yes! I'm a failure. Okay, yes?
Hi. First for Steve, I was wondering, one of my favorite roles of yours is Mugen from Samurai Champloo. your experience working on Star Wars Rebels, would you ever be interested in partaking in future Star Wars film installments?
Let's answer that one first. Yes.
Yes.
We love everything Star Wars. We're both Star Wars fans.
Yeah, we went to the aquarium and I realized Steve had his Rebel shirt on and I had my Empire shirt on. And I was like, well, it's appropriate. And we're nerds.
Yeah.
I know. Star Wars is the first time I think I saw Governor Price was at a screening they had for us at the Disney Channel building. And we sat and watched it and I was so blown away and I couldn't even believe that I was in that universe. And then the credits rolled and there was my name in that light blue font with the stars in the background. I just burst into tears. It's been the most influential movie franchise of my life, besides Alien, I think. So yeah, for me. But you were in it from the beginning, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was crazy. I've been working in the Star Wars universe for a while in the video games. And then we got Star Wars Rebels, and I fanboy squeed through every single episode internally. And then I got to work on Rogue One. I actually got to do some background voices, a lot of stormtroopers and aliens and Imperials on Rogue One. And again, just tucking all that in, and the fanboys just screaming through the entire thing. Matt Wood, who's the sound designer for Lucasfilm, directed us in that room. And a lot of people in the room were from different parts of the Star Wars franchise, so all of us were just kind of going, oh my god, this is so cool. And so what was the other question? Samurai Champloo. That was an interesting thing. I was a little nervous going into that one because Bebop had begun its run, and the character was so similar voice-wise. They wanted the same voice, and I really wanted to do something different. I didn't want to be known as the guy with the one voice. And compounded by the fact that the entire Japanese staff was sitting there in the room monitoring every single syllable that I uttered, and they wanted to make sure that it was very true to the original Japanese. So there wasn't as much freedom on that show as there was on Bebop. So I was a little nervous during the recording of that one, but it was so cool. The show was so cool, and the music was really cool, and finally I settled into it a few episodes in, and it was a great experience.
One other thing about Star Wars is Liam O'Brien brought me in, I think we both got to go in on the Force Awakens game. And I got to do all of Phasma's efforts, and I also played a Nerf sausage vendor. And I'm going to get cards printed up. My business cards will say Nerf sausage vendor on them.
That was you?
That was me. That's Nerf sausage!
Will you sign me?
Yes. I've signed you before. You can.
No coaching.
That was a line read.
That was.
Stop
It's
it.
more Ziggy than David at this point.
It is, right.
Points
Ziggy
out.
Star.
I only got here a few minutes ago, so you've probably already gotten this question, but would you rather fight an elephant-sized duck or 100 duck-sized elephants?
Done both, it's exactly the same.
Elephant-sized duck. That would hurt.
Yes.
An
I'd go
elephant.
for the 100 elephants, the little baby elephants. Mostly because I'd be like, just attack me more, and I'd get on the ground with them. I'm like, yeah, come attack me.
Elephant puppies.
Yes.
That would be cute.
I want nothing to do with ducks. Ducks are savage. Look up duck rape on the internet.
I know. But yeah, the pool. I've seen it happen every year. They come and they rape.
It's savage. They're awful. They're monsters.
Yeah.
Ducks are the most evil thing on this planet.
I don't close my eyes on the floaty on the pool anymore.
Yeah.
You're thinking of geese.
It really is a thing. No, I'm
No,
not.
it's too come.
Chuck Huber and I, for some reason, did an entire panel on duck rape. And it just because suddenly people had heard about this, and it was like, I just happened to have read this 9-page thing. It was like, it's evolution happening very quickly.
But two will go after a female. At the end, she gets to choose which one she wants, and then they are together.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing.
Also, the only bird that has a penis. Because it's usually cloaca. But ducks, and it's not all ducks. It's like it's a certain percentage of male ducks. And then it usually ends in death.
Oh my
And
god, I
then
love
the
it.
female ducks, which is also very unusual in the avian world, will actually have a vagina. Then it starts to develop Like the male will have a corkscrew penis, and as that starts to change, the female will go corkscrew the other way, and trap doors, and false entrances. It's ridiculous. And it's all happened in the last few years.
I'm not okay with this.
Wow.
Next time you
Fortunately,
see a duck, just kick it.
No.
Ducks are not nice people.
We do not condone any violence against dogs.
wow. Wow, PG-13 just took on a whole new meaning. Fortunately, I grew up in a Jewish family where 13 means you're a man. Yeah, go ahead.
What do y'all think about like amateur stuff, like maybe Dragon Ball Z Bridge? I know you
Didn't we just do that?
I did.
Oh, I did. Sorry. I think it's funny. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you guys get to have a lot more freedom and fun. I mean, you know, we do the same thing. It just never usually makes it to Final Cut.
Yeah.
So. Sorry, I missed the last part of that.
Do some guest voices on that. No, that's for you guys. I mean, you guys can get discovered off of that stuff too. I mean, they're finding more and more voice actors off of YouTube and Twitter followers and everything else. So put yourselves out there. You never know. You never know. You could be the next great Scott McNeil, Steve Blue, Duck Raper.
I used to be a duck raper in my day. I've met many, but none like the legendary Scott McNeil.
He's got a corkscrew.
That was the day I started kicking ducks. Last day of MetroCon, yes.
We should have a rubber duck kicking party. That would be really fun.
I collect little rubber duckies.
So do I.
We got one in Scotland. That was a Nessie. A Nessie duck.
Nessie duck.
The Nessie duck was Nessa.
Have you been Momo'd here?
Wow. Well, not today.
Momo is, I don't know if she's here.
We didn't have time. We had
Momo
to-
We had to
is
pack.
an amazing artist, and every year she does custom ducks. Really? So this year I got a wasp-spinner duck. I have a Wolverine duck. All of them. There's a Scott McNeil duck, which I got this year, right down to the nose ring. And they're just the same. But she paints. They're amazing. I have like 50 of them now. She does it. She normally would be sitting in the room right now. She's here, so she's presumably out of Tampa.
I think we scared her
Is
away.
she in the artist alley? or-
She might. No, I don't think she's not kind of commercially doing that.
That's
It's
really
just a
cool.
thing that she does.
Wow.
How fun.
Yeah.
5 minutes. All right, we're
All
going to
right.
do a lightning round.
Lightning round.
5 minutes.
Glad
Lightning
you're
round.
here.
Well, first I just wanted to applaud you all for enjoying nature and everything. Florida.
Nature's all we got.
We love nature.
Yeah, I just came from a turtle survey up a little bit north of here.
Oh, beautiful.
Fun.
But yeah, my question is for Steve.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on having worked on Legend of Korra?
You've been purified. I love that. I'm just great that I'm on that cast. Well, yeah, it was wonderful. We're gonna go fast because we only have 5 minutes. You pick.
Yes.
Scott, Steve, could we have a little Wolverine off?
You're the best there is at what you do. Quack.
I've said this before though, but Wolverine, with all due respect to all of us in this world, has never been played right. Because it's always, don't make me get all Canadian on you. Dude, I've been to northern Alberta. That is not the real Wolverine right there. It's just like, so frickin' seen buddy coming up over there, all right, put down my fucking bam, snake, fuck him right out, just giving her, man. Somebody went, dude, you record that? I will animate it. I was shocked. I mean, I live in Canada, but I was shooting a movie, and then I went, holy crap, that really does. That's how we speak.
This has to happen.
Yeah, it's all about the rye whiskey too. You give rye whiskey to any Canadian, it's instant Wolverine.
Wow.
It's like it's a hockey fight waiting to happen.
Well, Wolverine in a bottle.
Walking body's giving. I'll frickin' pound you right now, man.
Okay.
For all three of you, is there any one character from your past roles that if they come back and said, I want you to do this role again, you're like, hell yes, I want this?
All of them. Except for
Hire
Sonora
us.
Star. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I hate Chris.
Hire us, please. We're all out of work right now because we're here.
Yes, sir.
Steve, I'm surprised nobody's asked this. How was it like being in Mortal Kombat X, being Sub-Zero and Reptile.
Very, very violent. Grossest deaths I've ever seen. Yeah, fantastic.
Ripping someone's spine out.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm so starstruck right now. Because I've never met a voice before. That was the Ghost in Shell movie. What did you think of like Scarlett Johansson playing Motoko and the guy who played Bato? Did you think that they did pretty good as their role? Everyone thinks they suck, but I think they're amazing.
I love Scarlett Johansson, and as long as the director was cool with her, I was fine. If she's the only way the movie could get greenlit, then that's a problem with Hollywood, and not a problem with Scarlett Johansson. So I don't agree with the whitewashing, but I also think that if that's the only way that people can get this movie made, then get the movie out to see a broader audience, because that'll bring people to the anime, hopefully. So I love her. I think she's amazing. And Machiko kicks Black Widow's butt.
Deep, 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 deep in center field in the black shirt.
Alright, are there any really interesting, crazy, random anecdotes you have when you're in the booth or filming movies or anything like that? That's question one. Question two, can I come out there and shake your hand before the crowd gets crazy?
As long as you give it back when you're done.
I was doing voices on Halo, and it was pretty much just a sound set, which is what we go in, and it's like, so it's all fighting and reactions. And they said, just parrot the guy who did your male version of you. I was like, okay. Turned out it was Steve Bloom. So I started parroting Steve, like, you do thing, and I'll do it too. But during one of those, I just happened to fart. Oh, and spill my coffee. So I was like, and I was like, and I just kept going, and that nobody noticed. At the end, I was like, so we good? And they're like, yep, we're good. I said, great. So I know that I have a fart in Halo. So that's
what that was.
So that's what that was.
Yeah, my brief anecdote actually leads. Of course, it's going to be a fart story, and it's a Wolverine story.
Yay!
You know,
I probably have the same one.
The
I
most
can't wait.
testosterone-ridden hero of, it's like there's Aquaman here, there's Wolverine here. So we're having some epic fight, and we're picking up planets and throwing them at each other, and trucks and mountains and stuff, and it's just like. Wait a minute, stop. Play that back. And I'm just like, I mean, it really was the fluff of a 3-year-old girl. It was adorable, I thought. But you're just going, did anybody notice that? Oh, yes,
Yep, they did.
It's a thing.
Yeah, I hid my first Wolverine fart in X-Men Legends and redid it, but after that it sort of became a badge of honor to see how many I could slip in. Literally, every time I go for the big swipe, every time I do that, for some reason the body reaction is a... You're right, it's like a 3-year-old girl.
But it adds the high tones to the performance.
Yeah.
If you've got a nice little to a...
Yeah, they don't die from the claw wounds, they die from...
Incredible flatulence.
Yes.
Yes.
It's actually a superpower.
Thank you
It's all
guys
spray cheese.
so much for coming out. I know. Thank you for a wonderful weekend.